Hello, 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 everyone. I am so excited as always to talk to you guys. I'm not used to going live. I like doing my videos and then putting it out there. Um, but when you have to be obedient, that's what it is. So um, today, God spoke to me, and I had to write in my Revelations journal. And as I'm promoting the Revelations Journal, God is um, having me to help people with getting the revelation of their day and explaining more of what the Revelation Journals are for. So every time something happens or an idea pops up, I'm always writing in a journal or whatever you want to call it. But it's a journal. And as y'all know, I am focusing on living peace, not in pieces. So this is going to be a full month of putting all the pieces to our puzzle together because right now our puzzle is scattered. So God is wanting to bring all of the pieces of the puzzle together to make you whole, and that includes me. He's been working with me a lot and giving me a lot of revelation every day. And I know it may be confusing, like revelation journals. What is that? Well, that is, have you ever had the feeling of like, um, dang, this has happened before, but what did I do? Or this seems familiar. Like this situation seems familiar. Yes, it's with someone else, but this seems very familiar. And if we have our revelation journals and we write down, stuff that's happening, ideas, because God is constantly giving us ideas. He's constantly talking to us. If we be still and listen to Him, He's constantly talking to us. We just have to listen. And when I tell you, when you listen, you better have your journal. That's why I made them small because these are the best sizes. You could take it in your purse, your car, and they're only $7 on my website, seaportraitsmagazine.com. They're only $7, and you could take these anywhere and just jot down. These journals will also have some of my Let's Dig Deep um, videos to go with them to help you guys out on your journey of writing your revelations. So we don't continue to these generational cycles. Like it has to end, and we can talk about it all day, but when are we going to do something to help us stop the generational cycles? It's important that we try to help ourselves out of this. So if you keep up with your generation, with your revelations journal that is on my website, you'll be able to, write this stuff down. Like, oh, this happened to me, and it's between you and God. You don't have to go to Facebook. You don't have to go to your so-called friends. You don't have to go to nobody. You could just write this stuff down. What's happening? And as you write, and God will start dealing with you, and He'll start telling you, this is why this happened. This is why, so many times we go to everything but God. And God, we serve a jealous God, and He's not happy with it. So, and we wonder why, dang, I shouldn't have told this person because now it seems like they stabbed me in the back. Well, He's going to allow certain people to hurt you when you putting them before Him. As I just said, we serve a jealous God. So anything that we put before God, He's not going to be happy with. And He's going to allow them. He's going to allow you to see who they really are and show you, oh, so you rather serve them than me. And, most of the time, We are not aware of us serving um, another God, or it's like I don't serve nobody but you, God, and I definitely don't serve the devil. That's what I was thinking, anyways. Like I know I don't serve nobody but God, so I'm not worried about anything. But anything that we are paying more attention to, whether it's Facebook, whether it is Instagram, our jobs, our kids, our husband, our girlfriend, our wife, whatever it is, if we are putting more into them than into God and the things that God has us to do, we are serving another God, an idol. And I'm gonna get into it because in the Word in Exodus the 20th chapter, verses 3 through 5, God says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generations of them that hate me." So God is telling us in that in Exodus the 20th chapter verses 3 through 5 is that, hey, don't serve nobody else but me. That goes for your job, your family, the worldly things. That's why he tells us not to do the things of this world. Don't follow the things of this world, and let him direct your path. So many times we get so focused on money, money, money. That's why you can serve money. Don't serve money. The love of money is the root to evil. The love of money. Now he's going to give you money. He told you that. But if you loving money and that's your main focus and why you're doing certain things, then you're not serving God. You're serving yourself. You're becoming your own whatever. He said, serve no other God other than him. So that that could be Facebook, that could be Instagram, that could be anything, your kids, as I said, your family members, your husband, your wife, anything you could be serving other than God. I didn't get it until God started dealing with me, and I'm like, because we initially are thinking, oh well, I'm not serving the devil. I'm not doing anything that the devil is telling me to do. I'm not serving him. But if we are more committed to the job, or more we spend more time on the job doing the things that the job tell us to do, and less time with God. We just, oh, I'll get to God whenever. I spend time with him whenever. But when the job fires us or whatever, oh, now I need God now. I need God to help me out of this situation because they just fired me or whatever. Well, you were serving that. That's what you were serving. But now you want to call God. And then he's sick and tired of um, us calling ourselves gods. Um, we're not. So I'm not God. I couldn't keep myself alive. I've been through a lot of stuff and I could have died. Um, but it wasn't me that kept myself with my power or black magic or whatever that kept me alive. I don't have that. Um, So it was God that kept me alive, and I'm so grateful. And more so grateful that, even when we fall short of his glory, he still is waiting to teach us, just like we are with our children. It's like, they fall short of what we tell them to do all the time, but we continue to give them chances because the whole point is for them to learn. We want them to learn from it because before they get out into this real world, as I tell them, I know it's confusing to them, like we are in the real world, but when you are outside of this house, outside of my covering, it's a whole different ball game. So I'm teaching you everything that's in this word and breaking it down to you so you can understand that this is how it's supposed to be. And this is the way you're supposed to live in decency and order. Don't follow some of the mistakes that I've made or whatever. Do better than I am, because this is what you're supposed to do. This is what saith the Lord. This is not what mama say, because that's another thing. We are supposed to honor our parents, but um, we don't have to follow everything. Once we're grown, we don't have to follow every step that they have taken. We are on our own path. As we saw Jesus, he said, when his mother knew what he was, but when they had lost Jesus, she, was like, dang, why? This is in layman's terms, like in our reality, where I can talk to y'all. Y'all can read it for yourself. But, when they lost Jesus, or didn't pay attention and Jesus fell behind, um, he told his own mother, he was like, don't you know that I'm about my father's business? Once we become adults, we have to be about our heavenly Father's business, um, and we can't serve our parents anymore. We always supposed to honor and respect our parents, but we are not to serve them and to break some of these generational curses, because most of the time we're like, well, my mom did it, or my daddy did it, or my uncle, auntie, cousin, whoever did it. So I'm going to do it this way because that's the way they did it. So that's how I'm supposed to know. God has you on a different path. He had me on a totally different path. I tried to go the normal route. I tried to follow my parents' footsteps, because I was thinking, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. He gave these examples for me, so that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to follow in their tracks. No, he had a totally different way for me to go. And the way he had me to go, I had nobody to really go to, because nobody's taken the journey that he had me on. And my children is going to be on a different journey than I was on. And that's okay. As long as they're on God's journey, I'm fine. I don't condone anything outside of that. But I just wanted to clarify some of the things that God is saying to us, is that be aware of these things. Be aware, oh, I need to, get off of Facebook, because, I'm spending more time on Facebook than I'm doing anything else. I'm not getting anything done. I'm coveting. It's causing me to covet someone else and what they're doing. It causes jealousy. It causes all types of stuff that we are not even aware that is happening with us, but we do it unconsciously, like we're not really thinking. But that's why he's saying, be aware. I need you to focus on some of these things, and the Revelations journals will help you, because you'll be able to look back like, oh, I remember this when I did that. Oh, okay. So I don't need to do this, because I remember the last time I did this, this happened. So, and that will help us stop these cycles. I'm trying my best to, as God is downloading, to help people stop these generational curses, cycles, whatever you want to call it, because we keep repeating the same thing. Oh, well, I'm gonna do what my mama did, or I'm gonna do what I see my daddy do. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drink. Well, my daddy coped with his emotions with drinking and smoking, so I'm gonna drink and smoke. So then you serving that beer bottle or whatever more than you serving God. I mean, it's that deep that it's more than you serve God or the devil. He tells you in Exodus, the 20th chapter, verses 3 through 5, that it's deeper than that. And he's a jealous God. So if you serving that beer bottle or whatever more than you serving him, that's a problem. And he's the only one, because Friday, tomorrow, I will be doing controlled emptiness. And God gave it to me. I didn't even understand it at first. But what controlled emptiness is that we will go to everything but God. We will go to food. We'll overeat, which is not helping us. We will over drink, which is not helping us. We will smoke to cope, to try to control that empty feeling that we have inside of us. And the only thing that can help us is God. God is the only way to put all of our pieces to our puzzle together. We can't put our pieces together. I kept telling myself, oh, I'm going to change. Oh, yes, I don't, yeah, I'm going to change my ways. I'm going to change my attitude. I needed God's help to change because, we don't see half the stuff that we do. That's why we keep doing it. People be like, "Oh, you have an attitude." I'm like, "I don't have an attitude," but I'm moving my head and, being loud with people. "I don't have an attitude." And it's like, "Yes, you do. Look at how but we're not aware of that at that time because we're so busy controlling the emptiness that's inside of us. And God is like, "No, I can mend all these pieces together." He said, "Cast all your burdens unto him." That's why I'm encouraging you to get these journals because you can write it down. Don't go to Facebook and tell the enemy what's going on. As you writing and talking to God, this could be your time with God. And as you writing, because every time I'm writing, it's something that God gave me or something that happened, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm starting to write it down. It's 9:04 a.m. and boom, boom, boom. This is what happened. This is the revelation I got. And you won't get it probably until the end of the day, or sometimes he gives it to you right then and there. But you need to build that relationship with God so you can hear his sheep hears his voice. That's what that means in the word. People say that the word isn't for now. Oh, that was back in the days. What do that got to do? Oh, it has a lot to do because if you actually I didn't understand the word at first. So I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I did not understand the word at first. I was so confused. I'm like, okay, it's talking about whatever. I don't know. What do they got to do with today? We have to pay bills today. So what do they have to do with today? Well, it has a lot to actually first build that relationship with God and let God deal with you when you're reading it. Oh, he will open up all. That's why it's called the living word. This is not a book. It's a living word. So watch the way you refer to the word of God. That's why it's called the word of God. It's not really a book because it's a living word. We can all read the same scripture, but we'll all get a different revelation. You can watch my video and the revelation I got, you can get a different revelation. Whatever it speaks to you, I don't know. But God is wanting us to focus more on him and spending that time with him so he can direct our path. That's what that means when we read that in scripture. He says, lean not into thy own understanding, because if we lean into our own understanding, we are going to sabotage ourselves. Because, if had I leaned to my own understanding, starting a business with 2 kids on my own when I end a relationship makes no sense, no logical sense in my own understanding. But if God is telling me to take that leap of faith, then that's what I need to do. When I started my business 6 years ago, I thought that I would have childcare because this is what God told me to do. So they're going to give me assistance for childcare so they can help me. But no, they said I have to work $20, make $20 an hour, and I mean 20 hours a week. I can only work 20 hours a week and make nothing. And that's unacceptable. So, and that's another thing that God is tired of. He's like, wow, you're serving this job that's paying you nickels and dimes, and you're excited. You'll praise that job like that's your God and worship that job and get up and do whatever the job tell you to do, but you can't do anything that I tell you to do. It's too much. Oh, that's too much. I'm not changing nothing. Oh, see, that's why I can't follow the word, because it's trying to make me seem like I'm not human or what. No, he even said that you could be angry. He said you could be angry, but seeing not, that's why you have to read the word on your own. You keep going to where what the pastors told you to do. Read it for yourself. I appreciate my pastor because he made me read the word for myself. Like, this is what saith the word, what the Lord said. So read it for yourself. I want y'all to read it on your own. Read it for yourself. And that's important because when you read it on your own, you can get a deeper understanding more than what I'm not saying don't listen to your pastor. I'm just saying that you can get a deeper understanding. You need to read the word on your own. Then you can understand it more. You can't understand it because if you're just going by, oh, what pastor said, I need to do this and I can't be doing that because that's too much and all that. But you can, if the job told you to not drink and not smoke anymore to pass the drug test so you could get this job for whatever, 10, 13, $14 an hour, you would do it. Oh, that's not a problem. It's not hard to do, but it's hard to do for God. That don't make any sense. So I'm just shedding light to so we can be more aware of what we're doing, because sometimes we do it and we don't know that, oh, dang, I am serving my job more than God. Oh, I am spending more time on the job more than God. He ain't trying to make you uh just work all hard for nothing. I mean, you get nothing, but you rather settle for that nothing than to go on the path that God has you to go, because you can't see. It's faith. So it's beyond what you can see. It's beyond your understanding. That's why he said, let him direct your path. Lean not to thy own understanding. And he said, acknowledge him in all your ways. So when you acknowledge him and you just write it down and you just focus on with him, he will direct your path. And then right after he says that, he said, do not be wise in your own eyes. He said, do not be wise in your own eyes, because he know, okay, I'm not going to lean to my own understanding. Okay, so I'm about to take this leap of faith. Oh, this don't make sense, because you're going to get hit with 50 million things at once. It's going to be like, oh, heck no, I don't want to do this. This is too much. I'd rather just work a job than it. No, you have to stay the task. You have to stay consistent. You have to take this leap of faith. It's beyond your sight. It's not going to look right at all. That's how he performed miracles. So you have to stay the course. I'm so thankful I stayed the course for 6 years. Yes, my kids was babies. Yes, I started with no help. But look, God is still working. Like he paid. I mean, we have not lacked anything. And that is so true. What he says about the birds and all of that. Like basically, like if I'm feeding the birds and they don't care, they don't have a care in the world, what makes you think I created you too? He created us. So of course he's gonna take care of us. He just gave us what we need to do. Be obedient. We tell our kids to be obedient. No, I'm not giving you no candy because you didn't do what I said. But then we want God to give us what we want. But we don't want to do what he say. But we won't let our kids do that. We won't say, oh well, yeah, I still give you. Well, some people do, but if we are really training our kids in the way that they should go, we know that don't give in. And, because we're trying to teach them a lesson. You're not going to get what you want. You didn't do what I told you to do. So if we tell our kids that, no, you're not getting it. No, you're not going to be able to do this. No, you're not going to, because you didn't do what I asked you to do. So how do you expect me to give you something and you can't even do what I asked? And then we go to God the same way. But we won't accept this from our children, but we expect God to accept this. Oh God, you know what it is, you made me, you know me, whatever, 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 excuses, excuses. But we don't take no excuses from our children. So we higher than God. Is it what I mean, what is it? Because we're not. So if we don't accept it, but we want God to accept it. Oh, you have to accept this guy because you know what it is. I'm not changing for nobody and all of that. But you are changing. You changing for that job. You don't want to follow the word. Oh, because man wrote that. But you following man on the job. You following what the man tell you to do in this world. But you can't follow God. But and your excuse is because, oh, man wrote that. Well, man wrote the guidelines to the job, but you follow that. Man did that. Man wrote what you supposed to do, what you supposed to wear, how you supposed to wear it before you can enter their doors. Man wrote that, but you follow that. You don't want to follow. So what's your excuse now? Because you following man and what man wrote, but you settling for nothing. When God telling you, if you do these things and you're obedient, you follow my commands, you're going to be prosperous. I guarantee that. I'm a man of my word. They can tell you, oh, I'm going to give you a 10%, 10 cent raise, and you will be strong cold on that. A year go by, oh, yeah, I haven't forgot about you. We're still going to give you that 10-cent raise. Oh, you believe that? Oh, yes. All you got to do is keep it up. Do a little bit better. I'll give you 10 cents of a raise. Oh, you're so excited for 10 cents of a raise. But God is like, what is that? That's nothing to me. I could easily give you 10 cents, but I want to give you more. All I'm asking is for you to just be obedient and follow my commandments. Oh, but that's too hard. Really? Is it really that hard? Because you really do it for the man that you say that you're not serving, but you serve. You serving that man on that job. When he tell you to do something, you serving him. You doing what he tell you to do. But you don't want to follow the word because man wrote that. Okay, well, you listening to the man now, so what? What's your excuse now? Tell me. You don't have no excuse. So stop with the excuses. I have to stop with the excuses. I have no excuses. Period. Me too. This goes for me. I'm not, it is what it is. So I have no excuses. God has been checking me. That's how I'm able to tell you. That's how I understand it. Because he had to check me on this stuff. When when we gone past, we supposed to basically exclude ourselves from the things of this world. That includes Facebook. You won't see me on Facebook the whole time. If God tell me not to be on Facebook, I would not be on Facebook. Facebook is not my life. I don't even like being live, but I'm gonna do it for him. I'm gonna be obedient for him. And if he wants me to say this live and do it for him, I would do it. But I don't even like being on Facebook Live. Like you never see me on Facebook Live. Um, I'm not a in front of the camera type of person. That's why I'm a photographer. And yes, to answer that question, I still do photography, but I am God's servant. So he has me doing multiple things at once. And I do still do all the gifts that he has given me. It's just sometimes my focus changes. I still do photos. I'm still taking photos. But as I'm not serving my business, I'm not serving that. That's not whom I'm serving because that's a gift from God. So I have to be instructed by God what my next move is. And even if it don't make sense to anybody that is either buying my products or whatever, I can't worry about that. That was another problem that I had. I was worried. I'm like, oh Lord, that's not gonna look right. If I start doing videos, they're gonna be like, well, dang, she ain't doing photography. No, I'm doing photography. I'm doing magazines. I mean, whatever God gives me, I'm just doing immediately when He tells me to do it because um, we all have to answer to Him, regardless if we believe that or not. We do. So I'm trying to make sure that while He's giving me breath every day then I'm able to fix what I need to fix because we all make mistakes and God knows he said if you say that you are perfect, basically, I'm paraphrasing it, but he said if you feel that you are perfect, then the truth does not lie in you. So if you say that you have not sinned, that's what it says in the word. If you say that you have not sinned, you've never sinned, like you're perfect, God said the truth does not lie in you. So you're a liar. Because God knows that we have all sinned. We have all fell short of his glory. Period. And he uses that every time that we sin, he uses that to help us grow. I have grown so much through my mistakes. And another thing with mistakes is we can't keep saying, "Oh, I messed up again, Lord. I messed up." Because if somebody slapped you in the face and they was like, "Oh, sorry, I keep doing that. I keep slapping you in the face," you wouldn't be like, "Oh no, that's a mistake." You'd be like, "No, you purposely keep slapping me in the face." You wouldn't be like, "Oh, that's a mistake. Yeah, I understand. You could keep slapping me." No, if somebody was slapping you in the face and they was like, "Oh, that's my mistake. Sorry, I didn't mean to slap you again. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to slap, slap, slap." You're going to be like, no, you getting a little bit too happy with this. You keep slapping me. No, quit. You know what you're doing. Stop it. So just like that, God is like, you know what you're doing. You've done this before. So stop it. Period. There's no excuses. Period. That's why I'm saying these revelation journals will help you because you could be like, oh, dang, I did do this the last time. What do I need to do this time? Because this caused me to be in this situation. Because when we're trying to handle things on our own, we end up putting ourselves in worse predicaments. When I remember when I did become the single mom, I was like, oh, everything's on me. I didn't even realize what I was saying with my words. And God was like, oh, so everything's on you. So you're doing this. You're not helping me. I'm helping you get out of the stuff that you put yourself in. But everything's on you. You doing this? Okay, well, I'm going to let you see how it is to do this on your own. And, when I had to really do stuff on my own, I was like, oh, snaps, oh, Lord, help me, Jesus, you know. And then, I changed my language. It was like, oh, I'm not by myself. I got God. Because even if we read the word, and we go through trials, it's better to have God with us and be under that covering than to do it on our own, because with within the word he says, and God was with him, and God was with Joseph when Joseph went through all of that stuff, when his brothers traded him, and he went to jail twice. He got out, then the wife lied on him, he got back in, but then at the end of the day, exactly what God had intended and planned for his life, for him to be the ruler and everything to have to go through him, happened. And his brothers still had to bow down to him like God, because we also have to be aware of people um, trying to put us down. We have to be aware of who we are, and we can't even know who we are until we get into the Word, until we have that relationship with God. I did not know who I was. I had all these pieces everywhere, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not mad. I'm not angry. Ain't nothing wrong with me." And I kept telling myself, but in reality, I had some sadness in me. I had, some stuff that God revealed to me and that he mended and is fixing. And when he fix it, it's not going to feel good at all. So when we pray and we ask God, oh, help me with this. Oh, thank you for showing me. Help me. Oh, you about to, I mean, I have cried more, but I've had to let it out. It was a lot of stuff I was holding in. And it's not good to hold it in. That's why I'm telling you these journals, because you don't need to let it out on nobody either. We don't realize that we sometimes let, it ain't got nothing to do with that person, but we'll let it out on that person. And, they don't even know, what hit them, because we're like, oh, and they're like, what the heck? That's why now when people are fussing or whatever, yelling at me, and I know I haven't done nothing, literally haven't done nothing, I just shut up and listen, because he said be slow to speak and quick to listen. So I just shut up and I just listen. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this ain't got nothing to do with me. You mad at your baby daddy, or you mad at uh your mama, your cousin, your brother, your sister. It ain't got nothing to your job. So you just taking it out on me. So I'm more aware of that with my discernment, because I used to do that. My job would tick me off, and I would um lash out on other, somebody would call me right after, my job to tick me off. And I'm like, hello, what is going on? And they're like, dang, I was just trying to say hey or whatever. I'm like, yes, what is it? Because you always trying to call me. And it's like, dang, they're thinking like, what's wrong with her? And then, I will be like, well, if they try to ask me for advice, you need to listen to the Lord and all this stuff. And I know they was looking at me like, what in the world? So I had to change my ways. I had to be more aware um, of what my actions was doing, or what my actions was saying to people, or what my actions was. Just because I know in my heart that I'm not trying to be mean to nobody, and I know that I'm genuinely a nice person, if that's not what I'm putting out, then with what my actions are saying, then I need to change my actions so it can match with what I'm saying that I am. Because and I learned that with dealing with my children, because I'm like, well, you can say what you think you are, or what you know that you are to be, but if your actions ain't matching up with what you say that you are, then you need to be changing up your actions. I mean, I had to change up my actions, the way I talk to people, to make the way, because I am a deep thinker, and I dig deep into a lot of things. People would say, "Oh, you always overthinking stuff. You always are," and I am. And that's how God made me. It's nothing wrong with that. And people will be like, "Well, I want you to tell me the truth." And when I tell them the truth, it's deeper than the surface. So it's like, oh, you trying to be smart. And then sometimes when I would tell the truth, if somebody pushed me into the wall, it's like, oh, you about to get it. Like, I'm about to let you know what it is, who you really are. I've been holding this in this whole time, and I'm about to let you know what you are. But then I wasn't even getting, they couldn't even hear or receive, themselves because, I'm flipping out now. So God had to tame that and get me in order so people can hear the truth. Um, and I had to change my ways, the way I act. I knew I was a good person. I knew that, it doesn't make you a bad person because you snapped on people. It's just like you just need to be more aware. Hey, okay, I just need to change. Lord, help me change. Because I used to want to change. I used to say, oh my gosh, I need to stop this. Oh my gosh, Lord, like help me stop this. And only God can help you stop this. Like I tried it and then somebody tipped me off real quick again. And I'm like, dang, I keep falling for this same trap like every time. So now it's like, now that God is dealing with me and God is showing me and making me more aware of when this happens, I'm like, okay, I can talk better to people. I'm able to listen and not be so defensive. It's like, and I didn't even realize that until I was showing God like this person getting on my nerves. They so defensive. I can't even talk to them. Like, la da da da. He was like, look in the mirror. I'm like, what? I'm not defensive. I can listen to people. Yes, I can. I was listening to people, but I was in defense mode because I was so misunderstood for so long. It was like, I didn't want to allow anybody else to tell me what I was thinking or saying because I'm like, what y'all are saying that I think or say is totally off. Like I'm not going to continue to allow anybody to tell me something that I'm not. Like you're not going to. I'm not going to sit here and allow that. And so I would be so defensive because I was so sick and tired of, oh, I know you was thinking this, and that's why you did that. And it's like, no, I had to pick up my kids. I wasn't trying to be late to pick you up. I had to get my kids and then, pick you up. And I tried to call you, but my phone died. Literally, it really died. But you can't hear that. And I couldn't hear people because I was hurt. So when people would try to explain to me, I didn't realize that that hurt was coming and that was a trigger that I wasn't aware of. So now that God is putting my pieces together, I'm more aware of the triggers. Like when you have that anxiety feeling, that gut feeling where your stomach is tensed up and all of that, that is when you need to be like, okay, let me calm down. Let me take a deep breath because something is making me feel this way. And it's a trigger. That is a trigger. Like something is tapping in to either past hurt from your childhood or to your relationship hurt, something, whatever it is, somebody done triggered that hurt, that particular hurt. And you're going to have to be more aware of that hurt before you end up hurting somebody else. That's why they say hurt people hurt people. That is really true because we really hurt other people through our hurt because they have triggered something that we have not dealt with. That's why I'm saying the controlled emptiness is deeper than what it's saying. It's more so of us trying to control it with food. I'm gonna just overeat. I'm gonna overeat. I'm gonna drink more. I'm gonna drink more. I'm okay. I'm okay. I gotta smoke because I don't want to think about what's happening right now. No, you need to think about what's happening because you're not helping. That's how these generational cycles continue because we are using everything but God. And God is like, no, let me put all the pieces together for you so you can see the full picture. We have all these pieces of the puzzle just scattered everywhere. Oh, I'm hurt from childhood. That's a piece all the way over here. I'm hurt from this relationship. That's a piece all the way over here. I'm hurt right here. I'm hurt right there. I'm hurt, 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 hurt. And God is like, okay, let me put these pieces together because we can't even see the full picture of the puzzle until we put all the pieces together. And we can't see what we're doing, obviously, or we wouldn't be doing it over and over. So we need God who sees everything to mend us back together, to put all our puzzle pieces together so we can be more aware. Because God is helping me be more aware of my actions and what I'm doing wrong so I can change it right then and there. And then these are really helping me because I'm able to write down and then, I'm like, dang, I remember this. This just happened last week. And I'm able to look and be like, okay, this is what God told me last week. So I'm able, and I didn't tell my business or whatever, and I'm not telling nobody else's business that made me mad or whatever. I'm able to write it down, That way I don't repeat this cycle. That way I'm like, okay, that was a trigger because this triggered that. Because people will tell you exactly where they're hurt if you listen. If you be slow to speak and just listen to the whole thing until they shut up. Because sometimes we cut them off and we can mess them up from really letting out their hurt because we're trying to defend ourselves and make sure they're not going to hurt us. So we'll cut them off before they can even finish, and they could be almost getting through a breakthrough, but we cut them off. Oh no, because you need to do this. And they're like, no, I got that. I already went through that. I'm just telling you, this is how I got to that. I was the type that went all around the merry-go bush because I wanted people to understand how I got to that part. But people be like, hurry up, just what happened? Just tell me that part, that one part. And I'm like, no, because you're not gonna get it, because then you're gonna think that I just, so it was always deeper. And God is just telling us, hey, just be more aware of who you serving and be more aware of listening, be more kind to people that are hurting, because we want people to be kind to us when we hurt. We want people to be more compassionate and don't brush us off. So we need to not brush people off. Um, we need to be more aware of these triggers, because these triggers are continuing on from generation to generation to generation, and we have to stop it. We have to stop these triggers, and we have to be more aware when we get that knotted feeling in our stomach. Not when we got to use the bathroom, but when we have that knotted feeling in our stomach, that where we tensed up, we're mad, we ready, like, oh, they done tipped me off. But where is that really rooting to? Because they could have just said something that triggered something. They could have said, um, that's why I don't want you, or that's why you like this, or that's why this, or whatever. I don't know. But they could have said that, and that triggered you because you've been trying to control that emptiness of abandonment. So when they said that, it triggered that emotion that you pushed to the side, that you just ate more food for, that you just drunk and smoked for, that pushed that to the side. But then now somebody done said something that triggered it. Now you mad at them. But in reality, it's you that haven't dealt with that hurt. You're going to have to deal with it. Write it down in your journal. Like, these are just $7. And I'm going to put QR codes so you can have maybe a video to help you get a revelation. But write it down. Don't tell nobody else. Just write it down. That way, that could be you and God's time. This give you more time with God, and He can mend that broken piece. He can show you, because I didn't even know some of the stuff that I had pushed back or that I was holding on to, because you don't know. But when you know, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to keep this, here, throw this away, Lord. I don't want to keep this. When you see that your garbage is full, you need to, take the trash. So, and we keep piling, more stuff into our garbage can, and we wondering why we so angry, we're so mad and all of this, but we piling more, and our trash can overflowing. And we like, dang, why is my trash can overflowing? Because I never took the trash. I never took the trash. So therefore, my trash is overflowing. And if anybody trigger any of these things that I've piled up in the trash, then I'm a flip quickly. 2 seconds. People that know my past personality knows that I will quickly put you in your place. 2 seconds. Like, that's it. I'm not taking no more, because I've taken so much that people don't understand, because they base it off of this appearance, that, oh, she ain't went through nothing, oh, she's good, oh, she, nah, no, yes, I've been through a lot, and nobody knows that. So I was so defensive, like, no, I'm not just gonna. And now that I'm in my Godfidence, the confidence from God, it's like, now I know certain things because I'm in my word more. I'm finding who I am through this word, because what man tell you that you are is so far from what God said. I mean, you are his treasured possession. Like, learn what he tells you that you are. and learn what he does not want you to accept. We accept so many things because we are controlling that empty feeling inside. We piling it up in the trash. So we got all these triggers that we ain't dealt with. So anybody touch that tender spot, we flipping. And we gotta allow God to show us that. And we're gonna have to look in the mirror because he shows us that through a lot of people that we can't stand. The main people that you really can't stand have something that you haven't dealt with. I'm telling you, I couldn't stand people with little smart aleck mouths. Wonder why? Because I can't deal with somebody that got a smart mouth like me. So or that's sarcastic. I'm very sarcastic. But if you read the word, when God is speaking in the parables, he's basically telling you like common sense stuff like, won't you receive this too? When he was talking to Cain, when Cain got jealous of his brother, and with the Cain and Abel situation, he was like, because Cain got so angry where he ended up killing Abel. And God was like, control that anger. He was telling Cain, that's why I'm saying the word can really help you. He was telling Cain, control that anger before it leads him into doing something that he don't need to do. And he was trying to make Cain more aware, like, hey, I see you. It's going to take you to another place that you don't need to go if you don't control this. But Cain didn't want to listen to God, and he had God be able to really talk to him. But anyway, he didn't want to listen to God, and he ended up letting that hate and jealousy and anger get all up into his soul, and he ended up killing his own brother for something that he could have just did. You hating on your brother or your sister over something that you wanted to give God whatever. I give this away. He told me to give my clothes. I give the stuff I don't want. I do this. And Abel gave his best. He's like, here, God, I'm going to give you all of me. I'm going to give everything. You have full control over my life. That's what Abel did, basically. I'm giving it into this turn. And Cain, just gave him whatever. And, since he did it, God was like, okay, I'm very pleased with you, Abel. And that's how God is with us. But we get so jealous. Oh, she getting blessed. I don't see how she getting blessed and or he getting blessed or whatever. Because what are we need to look at, what are we giving God? Are we giving him our all? Because I thought I was giving him my all, but I was serving other things. I gave God a little bit of my time. Now I give him all my time. But I would give I get into my word later, or I put 5 minutes aside for God or whatever. So I love God. That don't mean that I didn't love God or whatever. But I was spending more time doing other things other than spending time with God and giving him my all of my time, all of me. And I didn't want to change either at one point in time. I was like, I'm not changing. This is who God made me. I'm not changing for no. Yes, he made me very blunt, but there's a way that I can get the truth out, the deep truth, because I'm not a surface type of person. So don't ask me. This is a warning. Be aware to not ask me for the truth if you don't really want to hear the truth. So, but now I'm gonna tell you in a nice way and with the word. So, but now it's like we have to learn to change, give it to God. So we are more aware of the triggers, so that we are not, because the triggers make us end up getting into situations because we're trying to control that emptiness. So we'll get into a relationship where the thing that we are trying to run away from, we'll get into a relationship and get treated by a different person the same way of the issue that we're not dealing with, that we done piled in the trash can. And then we're like, dang, why do everybody keep? Because you haven't dealt with that. Deal with that. Empty your trash. Give it to God. He said, give all your burdens unto me. So give your trash. Give it all to him. All of the things that's wrong with you, give it unto him. So he can direct your path. Hold on, because my laptop is about to die. But give it all to him. He is the one that can direct your path. Nobody else. And he told you, give it to me. Why are you trying to hold on to it? When I realized I was holding on to that, I'm like, oh, well, no, here, God, you can take this. And when stuff is out of your hands, when you are in a situation and you're like, dang, it's nothing I can do. Like, I'm really stuck in a bind. Okay, call God. Because you've done everything. You've done all the works that you can do. God knows that. So give it to God, because I found myself when I would get stuck in a bind, I'm doing stupid stuff like, hey, I don't have the money for this, so I'm gonna get a loan. That's dumb. And God didn't tell me to do that. And I could have just gave it to God and let him handle it and get me out of the situation and be fine. But we end up doing stupid stuff like that instead of giving it to God. It's out of your hands. So have the faith to know, okay, he told me to give it to him, so I need to give it to him. It ain't nothing I can do at this point, so I'm gonna need him to perform a miracle at this point, because and he performs the miracle. I've had bills due the next day or that day, no money at all, and boom, whoop, there it is. I'm like, wow. But I gave it to him. I didn't put it in my own hands. I didn't lean to my own understanding. I'm learning now not to put it in my own hands, because I'm tired of putting myself in situations. I'm tired of being in the Jonah situation, because everybody looks at the Jonah thing that's in the word as, oh, that's the one that was that got ate up by the whale or got ate up by the fish. No. Why? What caused him to get put in that situation? He caused himself to be in that situation. Like, that's what I'm saying. The word of God can really help you, because I've had Jonah situations where I didn't want to deal with certain people. And God told me to deal with them certain people. But I was like, they're not gonna hear me. So why even waste my time? You told me not to deal with fools. So you want me to go and talk to these fools? And he's like, yes, because you're gonna have me. It's not gonna be really you talking to them. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, but until I got to that point, I would do the Jonah. Like, God told Jonah to talk to the people and go to Nineveh and tell them that if they don't change their ways, he would destroy them, period. And that's another thing we need to be aware of. You better hurry up and change your ways. And you got a limited time or you provoke his wrath. It's not the devil, it'll be provoke. God said his wrath. You will provoke his wrath. But anyways, back to the Jonah story. Jonah tried to run and hide like he can hide from God and not do the thing that God told him to do. And he ended up getting on the ship to go the opposite way of where God told him to go. And ended up, they casted lots and ended up finding out it was Jonah that caused the um, stuff to go, the storm to be, he caused the storm in their life because he refused to deal with what God told him to deal with. So in real terms, I'm paraphrasing and putting it in today's terms, since y'all say that it don't relate in today's terms. He was wanting to run and not do the thing that God told him to do because he don't want to do any work. And he decided, okay, I'm gonna go this way, like God don't see you. So God allowed him to do him with his free will that God gives us. And he ended up having to be, he thought he was clever. Oh, just throw me off the boat because I'm the reason for your storm in your life. And you just fell into what God was going to do anyway. But God, he could have just drowned and died. But God still wanted him to live out his purpose, because we all have a purpose on this earth. And since we have a purpose on this earth, God, allowed Jonah to be in the belly of the whale. And as Jonah was in there the first night, he was like, oh, God, please help me, get me out of here. And God like, I don't hear you. Whatever, you need to stay in there a little bit longer. That's fake. You haven't really acknowledged what the wrong that you did. And that's why I tell people we have to first acknowledge, hey, I have an anger problem. Hey, I'm bitter. Hey, I'm this. Acknowledge that so you can change. Because if you don't never admit where you're wrong, then you never, the truth does not lie in you. Like God said, the truth does not lie in you. So we first have to say, okay, I do have an anger problem because I did snap on such and such for no reason, or I do need to fix this because I shouldn't have done this, or I do need to, if If that's not what we are, then we need to change our ways so we can be who we really are. We can't just say, "Oh, I'm not a mean person, so you need to shut up talking to me." What? So, I mean, what did that look like with your actions? You're not a mean person. That don't mean that you're a mean person because you flipped out on somebody, but you need to change the way you talk to people next time so that they can see the person that you really are. That's all God is saying. He ain't saying that you a bad person or whatever, because that's what gets us stuck, because we're like, I'm not a bad person. I'm not. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. But there's some things that you have to change and change and change. I had to change the way I talk to people. I had to change the way I came at people. I had to change the way I dealt with stuff. Don't take on more than you need to take on. I had to learn that because we're not showcasing God, because I have an attitude. I would have in my past. I would have an attitude. I would help somebody, but I done stopped what I was doing, and now I'm upset because I'm trying to please them, but in reality, they're not seeing God, because I'm like, hurry up, come on. I don't have all day. I stopped what I was doing for you. It's like, work out it and that. So I had to change that because God showed me that. He was like, where was I at? I was like, well, I helped him. I gave him a ride with it. He was like, but where was I at with that attitude, with that funky, nasty attitude? I had a funky, nasty attitude. It was very ugly when God showed me in the mirror who Shanidra was, and through her actions. He said he knew that that's not who I am, but with my actions wasn't matching with who I am. So I had to make these two match. But I can only do that with God because God was the only one that could show me and tell me what was wrong with me. Couldn't nobody else tell me nothing, because I was looking at everybody else like, you got some stuff that you need to fix. Don't come at me. So with that being said, be aware of who you serving. If it's your job, if it's cigarettes, if it's weed, um if it's hair, if you spending more time, 50 hours on your hair and on makeup to make over yourself, that's doing too much. This is nothing but eyeliner. Like, I cannot take 50 hours on makeup because God made me up the way He wanted me to be. I just enhance it to look a little bit older because He has gave me a youthful look. So, but I mean, it's in everything from, we could worship our house more. We could be so much focused on trying to make it look good for everybody else that we start focusing more on our house, on our cars. Oh, I got to make this look good for everybody. Who you trying to show off for? Because He giveth and He will taketh away. And then what? So you want to get it in Him, and you want to continue to be humble and humble yourself, and to not worship any other God. Don't worship your kids. Don't worship your job. Don't worship your husband. Don't worship your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. None of that. Give it to God. So again, this is not my normal what I do. I don't normally go live. But I must be obedient. I must change some extra ways that I do. I don't like doing this part, but I like doing it for God. So I'm happy to be live for Him, and to, not only talk it, but walk it. And because He said He don't want us to be hearers of the word and not doers. So I can't be telling y'all to do what He tells us to do, and then I'm not doing it. So thanks again, guys. Let's dig deep.